Hey NFL fans, before we dive into today's hottest stories, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update. From NFL News Now, the atmosphere around the Dallas Cowboys has been buzzing in a way that feels heavier than the usual weekly noise. And the whispers coming from inside the locker room are impossible to ignore. According to people close to the situation, Dak Prescott showed up with a visible bruise on his face. A dark mark that immediately sparked speculation among teammates and staff. No official explanation was offered, and that silence only fueled the rumor mill. The story being told behind closed doors suggests a heated confrontation, one that crossed the invisible line between professional disagreement and something far more personal. Dak, known publicly for composure and leadership, is said to have been furious. Feeling exposed and disrespected in private conversations, his words were sharp, accusing someone he trusted of acting out of fear rather than conviction. Those close to the quarterback say this moment represents more than a simple argument. It is the result of months of frustration building beneath the surface. The Cowboys, an organization always under a spotlight, may now be dealing with an internal fracture that could reshape everything. The bruise on Dak's face became a symbol, not of physical pain alone, but of emotional strain and a breaking point that fans rarely get to see. What really escalated the situation, according to insiders, was the alleged involvement of head coach Brian Schottenheimer. The tension between quarterback and coach had reportedly been simmering quietly, masked by professional smiles and rehearsed press conference answers and meetings. There were disagreements about offensive direction, play calling philosophy, and trust. Dak is said to have felt that his voice, earned through years of leadership and performance, was being slowly muted. The rumors suggest that during a closed-door exchange, words were exchanged with an intensity rarely seen between a franchise quarterback and his head coach. At some point, the conversation allegedly turned personal, and that is where the accusation of cowardice emerged. Dak reportedly felt that Schottenheimer avoided responsibility, deflecting blame instead of standing firm. Those close to Dak say he left that meeting visibly shaken and angry, his face marked not only by emotion, but possibly by a physical moment that crossed professional boundaries. No one has gone on record, but the silence speaks loudly. In a league where image is carefully curated, this kind of unresolved tension becomes dangerous. People inside the organization describe Dak as someone who carries the weight of expectations on his shoulders every single day. As the quarterback of the Cowboys, he is not just a player. He is a symbol, a leader, and a constant target for criticism. The speculation suggests that Dak reached a point where he felt isolated, believing that the coaching staff, led by Schottenheimer, failed to protect him publicly while privately demanding perfection. The alleged argument was not just about a single decision or a single game plan, but about respect and accountability. Dak reportedly questioned whether Schottenheimer truly believed in him or was simply managing optics to save himself. The accusation of cowardice, according to sources, stemmed from this belief that the coach chose the safest narrative rather than standing beside his quarterback. This kind of emotional rupture is rare at this level, but not unheard of. When trust erodes between the person calling the plays and the person executing them, the entire system begins to wobble. And that is exactly what many believe is happening now. From the outside, fans see carefully edited interviews and controlled messaging, but behind the scenes, the Cowboys are said to be dealing with uncomfortable conversations. Some staff members allegedly noticed a change in Dak's demeanor, a quieter presence, mixed with flashes of visible frustration. The bruise became the unspoken elephant in the room. No one asked directly, and no one answered. The rumor mill suggests that management is scrambling to keep things contained, aware that a public fallout between Dak and Schottenheimer would be catastrophic. The Cowboys' brand thrives on confidence and unity, and any hint of internal chaos threatens that image. Dak's alleged outburst, calling someone cowardly, represents a crack in that carefully polished surface. It suggests a leader who feels cornered and unheard, a dangerous emotional space for a quarterback tasked with guiding an entire offense. If these whispers hold even a fraction of truth, the Cowboys may be standing at the edge of a much larger storm. What makes this situation even more volatile is the history and reputation of Brian Schottenheimer. Known as a disciplined football mind with years of experience, he carries the authority of someone who has seen locker rooms rise and fall. That is why the accusation cuts so deeply. Being labeled cowardly by your quarterback, even in private, challenges the very foundation of leadership. Insiders suggest that Schottenheimer was caught off guard by the intensity of Dak's reaction, perhaps underestimating how deeply the quarterback felt undermined. The rumor claims that instead of de-escalating, the exchange grew more confrontational, leading to a moment neither side anticipated. Whether physical contact occurred remains unconfirmed. But the visible bruise keeps that question alive in a league built on controlled aggression. The line between passion and conflict is thin, and crossing it can have lasting consequences. As the Cowboys attempt to move forward, the unspoken question remains whether this relationship can truly be repaired. Dak Prescott is not just any player, he is the face of the franchise. Brian Schottenheimer is not just any coach, he is the architect of the team's offensive identity. When those two forces collide, the shockwaves travel far beyond the locker room. Fans sense something is off. Analysts speculate cautiously, and the organization maintains a carefully neutral stance. Yet, the rumor of Dak's anger, his visible injury, and his alleged words continue to circulate. If unresolved, this tension could redefine the Cowboys' future in ways no one publicly wants to acknowledge. Silence, in this case, may be the loudest signal of all. The second wave of speculation surrounding this situation dives even deeper into the emotional undercurrent that may be shaping the Cowboys' internal dynamics. People close to Dak Prescott suggest that the quarterback has been carrying more than just the responsibility of wins and losses. He has been absorbing criticism, doubt, and pressure from every direction. In that context, the rumored clash with Brian Schottenheimer becomes almost inevitable. Dak is said to have felt that the coach's approach lacked courage, especially when adversity hit. The word cowardly, allegedly used in a moment of raw honesty, reflects more than anger, it reflects disappointment. For a quarterback who prides himself on accountability, the idea that his coach might avoid standing firm reportedly struck a nerve. This rumor paints Dak not as reckless, but as someone pushed beyond his limit, reacting to a buildup of unresolved issues that finally exploded behind closed doors. Those familiar with locker room psychology say moments like this can either destroy a team or redefine it. The speculation suggests that some players quietly sided with Dak, empathizing with his frustration and recognizing his leadership. Others reportedly felt uncomfortable, unsure how to process a conflict involving two of the most powerful voices in the organization. Brian Schottenheimer, according to whispers, responded by tightening control, reinforcing structure and discipline as a way to reassert authority. That response, however, may have only deepened the divide. When leadership styles clash, especially under pressure, the fallout can be subtle but damaging. Players begin to choose silence over honesty, effort over belief. The Cowboys, a team built on confidence, may now be navigating a fragile emotional landscape where every practice and meeting carries unspoken tension. The bruise on Dak's face continues to fuel speculation, not because of what it proves, but because of what it suggests. In professional sports, visible marks invite stories. And when no explanation is given, imagination fills the gap. Some suggest it was accidental, others insist it symbolizes something far more serious. The rumor of a physical altercation remains unconfirmed, but the emotional impact is undeniable. Dak's alleged reaction afterward, described as cold and distant, contrasts sharply with his usual composed demeanor. This change has not gone unnoticed. Teammates reportedly sense a shift, a quarterback who is still leading, but with an edge sharpened by frustration. That edge can inspire, but it can also isolate. The Cowboys' challenge now is managing that energy without letting it fracture the team's unity. Brian Schottenheimer's role in this unfolding story remains complex. As head coach, he is expected to command respect, but also to adapt to the personalities he leads. The speculation suggests that he may have underestimated how deeply Dak values transparency and shared responsibility. When decisions were questioned and explanations felt evasive, trust reportedly eroded. Being called cowardly, even in a private moment, is not just an insult. It is a challenge to character. How Schottenheimer responds to that challenge could define his tenure. Will he confront the issue openly within the team, or will he rely on authority and silence to restore order? Rumors suggest the latter, but only time will reveal the effectiveness of that approach. For the Cowboys organization, the stakes are enormous. This is not merely about a disagreement between a player and a coach. It is about the identity of the team. Dak Prescott represents resilience, leadership, and accountability. Brian Schottenheimer represents structure, experience, and strategic control. When those identities clash, the resolution shapes the culture. Some insiders believe the tension could ultimately strengthen the team, forcing honest conversations and renewed commitment. Others fear it could linger, quietly undermining trust the Cowboys' history is filled with dramatic chapters, and this rumor may become another, whispered about long after the facts fade, as fans and observers. All that can be done is to read between the lines, the controlled statements, the avoided questions, the visible bruise, and the alleged words spoken in anger all point to something deeper than surface-level disagreement, whether the accusation of cowardice was justified or simply a moment of emotional release is almost secondary. What matters is that it happened, at least according to those close to the situation. In the high-pressure world of professional football, moments like this reveal the human side of the game, and if this rumor holds true, the Cowboys are not just battling opponents on the field, but confronting their own internal reckoning. Keep watching as we analyze more details about some rumors. As the speculation continues to grow, another layer of this story begins to surface, one that speaks to the emotional exhaustion that often hides behind elite performance. People close to Dak Prescott suggest that the quarterback has reached a stage in his career where tolerance for mixed messages is nearly gone. He has reportedly invested years into building trust within the organization, only to feel that loyalty is not always reciprocated when pressure mounts. In this context, the alleged confrontation with Brian Schottenheimer becomes symbolic of a larger struggle, not just between two men, but between philosophies. Dak is said to believe that true leadership means standing exposed with your players, even when criticism is loud and unforgiving. The rumor claims that he felt Schottenheimer chose distance instead, protecting his own position rather than sharing the burden. That perception, whether accurate or not, can cut deeper than any tactical disagreement. When a quarterback begins to question whether the coach beside him is truly aligned, every decision feels heavier. The bruise, the anger, and the sharp words are all being interpreted as visible signs of an internal breaking point that had been quietly forming for a long time inside the building. The silence surrounding the situation has reportedly created an atmosphere of caution. Conversations lower when certain names are mentioned, and meetings feel more scripted than before. Some staff members allegedly worry that avoiding the issue entirely could allow resentment to harden into something permanent. The Cowboys are an organization that thrives on confidence and bravado. Yet this rumor paints a picture of uncertainty and restrained emotion. Dak Prescott's leadership style has always leaned toward accountability and openness, and when that clashes with a more guarded approach, friction is inevitable. Observers speculate that teammates are watching closely, not just to see who is right or wrong, but to understand what kind of culture is truly being built. If the quarterback feels unheard, what message does that send to the rest of the roster? These unspoken questions can quietly erode belief if left unanswered. The team may still function, but belief is harder to fake than effort. And belief is what separates good teams from special ones. Looking ahead, many wonder whether this rumored conflict will fade into background noise or become a defining chapter in the Cowboys story. Some believe time and success can smooth over almost anything, while others argue that unresolved emotional fractures tend to resurface at the worst possible moments. Dak Prescott is not known for empty words, which is why the accusation attributed to him carries so much weight. Brian Schottenheimer, on the other hand, has built his career on structure and authority, qualities that do not easily bend. If these two forces find a way to realign, the Cowboys could emerge stronger, forged by tension rather than broken by it. But if pride and silence prevail, the consequences could ripple far beyond one argument or one bruise. For now, everything remains officially calm, but beneath that calm, the rumor continues to breathe. And in a league where pressure exposes truth, it may only be a matter of time before this story demands a resolution, one way or another. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like this video and share it with your fellow NFL fans. Stay tuned for more updates only here on NFL News Now.